This meeting is being recorded.
I am Eldon. I am a spiritual magician as well as a life coach. I want to welcome all of you and thank you for participating in today's introductory workshop. We're going to do some fun things today. So remove all nervousness. You're not forced to participate, but a few sentences will be helpful because it will not only help me, but it will help you as well. So today we're going to discuss the 7 spiritual laws of success by Deepak Chopra. How many have you heard of the book? Just you, John? All right. So in the Heartbeat app, there is the book that you can take a look at. It's free. By the way, I put it up for the class, for the workshop, for those that want to participate afterward. This is the introduction to the 7-week workshop, which I would definitely invite you to and welcome all of you to participate in. It's going in depth on the principles that I'm going to be talking about today. So I am going to share my personal story on how this book changed my life to be the person that I am sitting in front of you now. I'm originally from New York City, and we all have that period in our life where we don't know where we're going, what we're doing, find some direction. And I don't know how this book came into my periphery. Maybe I was in the library, and I saw it was a short little book, and I picked it up and was like, let's read it. Maybe it was introduced to me. I don't recall. It doesn't matter. I'm here. I read the book, and just reading it made me realize a couple of things about me. I'm an adventurous person, I'm a giving person, and all of these things are kind of spoken about in the book. It inspired me to live on my full potential and move to Chicago, where I there ended up becoming a web developer. I studied and I did my web development work, and my career just took off. It just really hit it because of the principles in this book. The book is really short. It's about 35 pages. Each chapter is about 3 pages, and each page is about 3 paragraphs long. So it really isn't a long read. It's not one of those reads that you pick up and read it from beginning to end. This book has a lot of deep meaning and thought to it. You'll see the way it's written that it'll be, oh, this makes sense. Let me take notes. Let me take some action. So that's what inspired me. I read the book and there were some chapters that I couldn't get through. And it's really funny because they're 3 to 4 pages long. So I'm like, why am I not getting through this chapter? And like every challenge, there's a reward at the end. Sometimes you're having a hard day. Sometimes, you're getting a little bit stressed out. But once you get rid of that stress, once you get rid of that work, guess what happens? Something opens up. Your reward is there. So that's what happened to me. And I was just reading this chapter and reading this chapter, and I read it over and over again. And I was just like, there's a lesson here. What is the lesson that I'm trying to learn? Because I'm not picking up on it. Something's not clicking. So I put it down for a day or two, and then I went back to it. And then all of a sudden I was like, this is what this is telling me. So that's my story to you. So please do take a look at the book. It's in the resources tab in books and audiobooks. And then you'll find it's the 7 spiritual laws of success. In today's session, like I said, we're going to participate a little bit. You can share. It's completely up to you. No one is forced to do anything. But what I also realized about this is when you give of yourself, not only do others learn about you, you learn about yourself as well, because there may be things that have been stuck that you need to release, and we'll talk about that in one of the chapters. Before we go on, does anyone have any questions?
No questions. I just want to let you know that Simon was trying to get on. I just sent him the Zoom link, so I don't know, if you could stall just a second to let him get on.
I can wait. Yeah, I can wait. In the meantime, Gregory, Erica, Jesus, anything that you want to say before we start?
I'm just hunting for the link in the resources. I must have missed that when I signed up. So I'm digging for that while we wait. But
Yeah, let me see if I can get it for you.
Erica, are you already signed up in Heartbeat, like as a member?
No, so this is all new for me. This is my very first meetup and everything. So all of this is
Okay.
new. I'm still exploring.
Okay, no worries. I can help you with that too. To make sure that you're on the platform to get access to the resources. Here,
Okay,
I'll
for
actually
those that
drop the
are,
link.
I just pasted the link in the chat for those that want to have it. You may want to copy paste it and then save it so that you can follow along with the courses, with the 7-week course.
Actually, that's gonna send them to the event, only to register for the event. So they just go to this general website, and
Oh, okay.
that's how you can get registered into Heartbeat. There you go.
Thank you.
Simon's hasn't tried to get on just yet.
I don't see him. I haven't seen the Simon wants to join the room.
Okay. All right. Well, then don't hold too long. You can proceed.
So let's talk about the first law, which is law number 1, the law of pure potentiality. And this law discusses the pure potentiality, your significance in realizing your true self. And in my personal journey, my spiritual journey, my life's journey, you can call it an adventure, I realized, and this is something that I think we all can pull out of ourselves. I realized that my skills and abilities were given to me. These were a gift. And I know my purpose in life is to use my skills and abilities to help other people, which is why I'm in this group now. And as a life coach, I have helped a lot of people manifest work. There's 3 people that came to me and was like, I can't get work, and what do I do? And all of that. And one of my clients, I let her know, I said, the first thing you need to do is clear out anything that you don't have in your house that you don't need. Shoes, magazines, dead flowers. You know how people turn the flowers over, the roses? Throw those out. Those are symbols of dead relationships because in the beginning stage of a relationship, your courter gives you flowers. It symbolizes a fresh start, a new beginning. Fresh flowers, fresh relationship. They smell beautiful. They look beautiful. You're creating a beautiful relationship. And after a while, what happens? Yeah, like everything, things come to an end. These roses, they dry up and they get crusty. And a lot of people, they think it's beautiful. And it is. I'm not saying that it's not, but they symbolize relationships that are dead. So I told her to get rid of those things. And I also told her, you're going to realize that things are going to happen really fast. So please be ready. So using my gift, my skills and abilities, employing the law of pure potentiality, I let her know of these little techniques. They weren't big. They weren't, go climb a mountain to find enlightenment. It starts at home. So she cleared out her garage, she cleared out her space, it cleared out her mind. So I said, now you can start interviewing because you don't have that baggage anymore. You don't have that tying you down. This is the opportunity for you to polish off your resume, start looking for work. So I said to her, don't tell anyone when you're interviewing. Don't tell anyone if you get an offer. Don't tell anyone anything. Keep it quiet. This is your personal space. This is your personal moment. She, when she finally got the job, she was like, Eldon, I've been trying to call you. I wanted to call you, but you said no. And I said, well, what is it that you want to tell me? She's like, Eldon, you are absolutely right. I got a job. Everything you told me just worked. I cleared out my space. My mindset was clear. My focus was laser focused. And with those small techniques, she ended up getting that job. And it was really kind of bugging her because she was almost out of work for 2 years. So I said, you got this. You have this. Just follow these little simple techniques and you're going to get your your job, the job that you want. She got the job that she wanted. They asked her back at the company that she was working for before, and she couldn't be any happier. I mean, I felt really good because it's such a joy for me to help other people. And so that's why I'm glad all of you are here today, because even if you get one small thing out of it, my job is done. And I'm just eternally grateful that you are all here present in your reality to realize the first law, the law of pure potentiality. So, enough about me talking. I'm going to open the floor just for you to share a story or to share how you can realize your pure potentiality. Don't be shy. This is an open forum and there's no shaming here. This is a safe space.
I'm sorry, what do we have to share? Or we have to.
Just how share a moment on where you felt a sense of limitless potential, on how you can realize your potentiality. The law of pure potentiality is the one we're talking about now. Come on, we all have that beast that wants to unleash and say, I can do this, even if it's small.
I mean, I feel like it kind of applies to so many things in different ways. I'll start with saying that I really resonated with your statement about clearing things out. Absolutely, anything you don't need, right? And like that's the key word there, need, because I immediately started looking around and I was like, oh boy. So that was very interesting. And then prior to for that individual having interviews and things like that, right? So it's like resetting, like it just really resonated. And I feel like I've been thinking for some time, I feel like I need to start getting rid of things or donating or selling or whatever. And just, so it's just that, might be an area for me to look at.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, because I believe and I've seen that once you remove all of the things that you no longer need, it leaves space for things that you desire. And I've done that in my life too. Like, what is this doing here out? What is that doing here out? I'm a type of person as well that I write lists, and crossing out things from the list just feels so rewarding. So thank you for sharing that, Erica. Come on, Jesus, you got this.
I could use the example. I was on the Zoom call too on Monday, and I said this thing where I just started Vogue lessons, and Vogue is very physical and it's very demanding. And part of me was like, you're kind of starting late because I'm 25, and a lot of like people, from what I've heard, they started since like they were teens. So like I just felt like, are my bones gonna be able to like handle the weight of the dancing and like all that has to do with this. And because I kind of like, I started because I admire the culture. I didn't necessarily grew up with that. I kind of found it online and I fell in love with it. And I was very attracted to it and I wanted to learn it. And I went to school and I actually created a track that is very much that style. So I was like, I want to dance this. If I can produce it or I can sing it, I want to also like dance it. But part of me was like, is my body gonna be elastic enough? Because if you see Vogue videos, it's very hard. Like your body has to have the strength and the elasticity and all these different things. So it was a little bit of fear of like, am I gonna be able to do this in the time frame that I wish for? So even with like doubts, I still go, and every day I try to stretch so my body can like adapt to like all this movement, this new movements that my body never done before. So yeah, I would say that that's my thing right now that I can use it as an example for pure potentiality.
I think that's a wonderful story. Thank you for sharing that, because
Yeah.
you just opened the door
Mhm.
to that pure potentiality. You're going to realize that if you told me that you produced it, you sang it, and you wrote it, this is just that final component. And
Yeah.
once that piece of the puzzle is there, it's just going to shine.
Yeah.
So you have it
Exactly.
in you. You have it in you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I mean, I can see it right now. Because if this is something, if this is your passion,
Mhm.
and I'm going to use that word a lot today, if this is your passion, this is just the beginning. And the
Yeah.
beginning is just realizing that you have the potential, the potentiality to accomplish that is the first law. You're in the right situation. Please keep going. I definitely want to hear some updates.
Thank you.
And my good friend John, what do you have to say?
I'm sorry, my internet connection is really laggy, and I dropped off. So I don't know, was there a specific question or?
Yeah, how can you, I mean, I already know it. I just kind of want you to share it. How did you think reflect on a moment where you realized the sense of unlimited potential?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, for me, it's a learning process, right? To really get out of my own way and take a chance, have, trust in my abilities and, what is possible. I've always, since I was young, I always dreamed big. And now that I'm much older, I I realized that there's potential in achieving those dreams. That, you know, there was a period of my life in my young adult life where I was told that I was dreaming too big, or society kind of like made it appear that I was dreaming too big. And so I lost that light. I did. And now I'm regaining it. So I'm now more aligned and seeing that, there is a lot of potential in me just going after my dreams to like full-heartedly and with confidence and not giving up. So I think that law is absolutely like I'm aligned with it. I'm attracting it right now for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just a little bit of a tidbit, Erica and Jesus. John is my one of my mentors, and he definitely encouraged me to be sitting here in front of you all to unleash my power and to give it to you, which getting into the next one, it's the law of giving. The importance of giving is also receiving. There are many people like myself that when I engage in a relationship with a partner, I engage in what is known as what I call a catalytic relationship, where I do something for my partner feels happy, I receive that happiness, and we're both elevated. So I give of myself, I see the partner is happy, I receive the happiness. This law of giving is cyclical. When you give something to someone, a Christmas gift, a smile comes on their face. They like the gift. You're happy next because you gave a gift that means something to someone. In a relationship, the same thing. We talked about the flowers. You give flowers to the person that you're courting, and that person feels that desire. That person gave someone flowers that this person is interested in me. I just received flowers. What you give back unknowingly is a smile, a hug, a kiss. All of those have power. All of those are passionate gifts. So when you give something meaningful, it's because you are giving someone something to make them happy. You're not doing it to make them happy because you want to see them happy. It's just natural, it just flows. So now I ask all of you, please, to let me know of a meaningful gift that you ever gave someone, or maybe a gift that you received from someone. And it could be something simple as a Hershey's kiss on Valentine's Day to a Maserati.
My friend, when I moved, she gave me something that I didn't necessarily want, but I thought it would be very useful. He gave me like a set of tools for you know, when you need to put like clavos en la pared. I don't know how
Yeah,
to say
nails
that
on the
in
wall.
English.
Nails in the wall.
Nails in the wall, yeah, like nails in the wall or stuff like this. It was like a gun with like the different setups and stuff like that. It was like a cute ad with a charger and everything. It was
All
really
right.
pretty. Because I always like then like it's just me and my sister, and my sister's kind of like quote unquote the man because she does everything. She put the curtain, she put the mirror, she put like she paints the wall, she does everything, and I'm just like there trying to assist her as much as I can. So I was talking to that about with my friend, and my friend was like, "Well, you know, you're growing up, one day you're gonna have this and that." So like I thought about you, and he sent me like a full set of like guns and stuff for like you know, to fix stuff in the house. So that was that. And that made me happy. It was something that I did not expect it, but it was actually very useful. Yeah. I
Yeah,
just
I
used it
think
today.
no, I think that's funny because that gift meant something to him, which
Yeah.
it was a reflection of him. It's like, I'm gonna give him something that I think he may need for another time, which is now a gift that just keeps going, keeps on giving, is what they say.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Totally.
sharing your story.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I'll go. So mine is it wasn't my first apartment, but it was an apartment after a really tough time. I moved into a new place, and a friend of mine, was coming over, helping me get things set up, unpack, and do all that. And he brought me my first plant. And I still have that plant to this day. And I felt like that was a really meaningful, bringing life into the home kind of gift. And so I always appreciate that.
Wonderful. I love that. Is that the one right there, that plant I see?
It's not that one, but it's actually a little bit lower than that one sitting in that corner. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll share also. So, my favorite gift to receive is books. And I do have a friend, a very dear friend of mine, who sent me a book. And she's a life coach as well. And she sent me a book after some shares that I was able to, open up to her about, financial struggle and whatnot. And so she told me to get this book about manifesting money in the quantum field, and it's called A Happy Pocket Full of Money. And I got into that book so deep, and it changed my mindset a lot. So talk about the gift that keeps on giving. Um, yeah, so it brought so much joy and relief, and it gave me a sense of like everything's gonna be all right. It's to not do things like so much on the material level, but just like raise my vibration, my frequency to manifest those things in the quantum field.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm going to give you my brief one. I was working at a place when I moved to Miami for the first time 6 years ago. And I had this bag. It was a power bag. It had a big battery in it where you could charge your phone, your tablet, and all that. So if we ran out of power, I would plug in my phone and to charge it. And it was old. I had gotten it on the Ellen show, and I took that bag everywhere. I took it to Europe. I took it to work. I took it to wherever. That was the bag. And then it was ripping at the seams by the shoulders. And he goes, Eldon, I see that you have a bag, and it's kind of old, you want me to bring you a new bag? I'm like, if you want, whatever, very shy, very whatever. So the next day he brought the bag, and it was almost identical to the bag with straps in the shoulder, the chest strap and everything. It wasn't a charging bag, but it was a waterproof bag. And I mean, my face was just, oh my God, thank you so much. And then I ended up going back last year to the same job. He goes, I remember your face filled with gratitude on when I gave you that bag. And I said to him, I'm still grateful for that bag because I still use that bag. So there you go. The law of giving. He gave me a bag and I gave nothing but gratitude for it. So let's talk about the next law, which is, and many of us have heard it, the law of karma. Our actions generate actions that return to us. If you're a good person, you receive good. If you're a bad person, you receive bad. I've spoken to this with John many times. The universe is listening. So be careful what you say. If you say, I don't like this, and what are you going to do? You're going to see it all the time. And, litter bugs, for example. If you don't like litter bugs, what are you going to do? You're going to see nothing but litter bugs. I was when I was in California opening up a fitness studio, and I needed a place to lease. What would I see? Place for lease, place for lease, place for lease. So I was calling them all and calling them all because that's what my intention was. Well, guess what? I signed a lease to the fitness studio that I had, and that's what I received from the universe. My actions, a karmic action was the intention of opening up a fitness center. So I started with my preparations. I started my intention. I did the business plan. I did the legalization of the registration of the business. So all of these actions were to help other people get fit. So that action, that energy that I radiated came back to me in the form of a fitness studio, clientele, money for that people were paying me for the fitness studio. So now I encourage you all to give me some examples, please, of how an action that either you did or you received based on what your intention was. And Jesus, you cannot go back to your Vogue classes.
Okay. Hmm.
I know these questions are tough, but it is to open up your hearts and minds and soul to the power that you have within yourselves.
Hmm.
Because sometimes we just feel down and we don't think that we're doing things that are elevating us.
Hmm.
So this one is I encourage you to share an example of how karma has made an impact in your life. Like what did you do that made you feel happy? What did you do to make others feel happy? And I know they're tough, but
I
I know
don't
you
know
got
if
it in.
I don't know if this is necessarily karma. Maybe it is, but I don't know. When you were giving your example of the lease, it kind of reminded me of where December of 2020 when COVID. I mean, it was a year of COVID, but I don't know. Like it was still like a lot going on. Me and my sister we wanted to move together, and we had a budget, of course. And we were looking for apartments because she lived like upper New York and I live in the city, but I was living with roommates and we both were living with roommates, but our roommates were a little bit problematic. So we just wanted to live together. And we were looking for apartments for, I don't know, a couple of weeks. And we will always say, oh, this is our budget, this is our budget. And, say what our requirement was. Oh, we want to live in a building that has light, that has windows. And everybody was like, your budget is too small for an apartment. You can get a basement with that money. And they were telling us that and telling us that. And then my sister at one point just got really defeated. She got really like maybe we should just like rent a basement. And I was like, girl, no. We're gonna find that apartment. So you better change that mindset. And you have to think with me, we're gonna find what we want with our money, with our budget. And she was like, okay, okay. But I had to like be that, let's go, wake up, like don't think like that. And we found it. We found it. And then I told my sister, I was like, you see, like we found it. But if you would have just gave up, we would have now be in a basement. So that's that.
I think that is the perfect example. Thank you for sharing that story because we're going to talk later on about others and your tensions and all that. But
Yeah.
excellent, excellent. Good work. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll share as well. And so this is, I feel like it's maybe not a one example, but a series. And so I feel like there are times, can you hear me okay? Because I feel like I froze.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
No, you're perfect. Thank you.
There's times I feel like I was in a certain energy, maybe that more negative mindset. And I started just drawing. It was just one after another instances of, I don't want to see this person. all of a sudden I can't get away from that person, or I don't want to have to go to that location. Oh, well, everything is pushing me to that location, and it's whatever. It was just like this spiral, and so it makes me think of even whether it's a positive mindset, but where you're at, right? Like, because the flip side is, I can also think of times where things went really well in the opposite direction. So it was just like, oh, I need to fill up my tank. Boom, here's $30. Whatever it might be. It was just kind of that constant flow. So, and I'm always try to be conscientious of my energy. If I'm in a funk, I try not to go out in public. If I'm in that good stuff, I want to share it. So, I think that all plays into it as well. And because my intentions were off, if that makes sense.
No, that's it. That's exactly it. What you're giving is what you're getting. The law of karma. You do something good, you get something good.
Yes. Yeah, for me, that law, so it's really, I mean, the community that we're building here, like Eldon being a part of it, and um the program specifically that I really enjoy putting out is book study programs, and choosing the book that feels right for the moment. Last season it was collaborating with the enemy, and that was right after the election, and I was like, well, we're gonna need to learn how to get along with each other. And learned a lot through that. And by that action, I was able to receive so much more understanding of the content and how to apply it in my own life. It sort of just like was full circle, for me to, put it out there, present it, but also like how I reflected in a deeper level and going really in depth with the material has really like expanded my horizon and my thought process as I go in life. So I think that connects. You could tell me if I'm off track, but is that all right? Is that what we're feeling?
I think that's fine because your action
Mhm.
is karmic and you're receiving the rewards, right?
Yeah.
Every action has an equal yet opposite reaction.
Yeah.
For this one, you're going to see that they're all kind of weave into one another, if you will, but they're kind of specifically targeted for certain actions. But you know how when you say, when you go to certain stores and like stealing is bad karma, I never knew what it meant. It means that if you steal something, someone's going to steal from you, right? Or something bad is going to happen to you. So you, John, creating the community, you're creating something that not only are you giving to others, but you're receiving that support from others. Look at Erica and look at Jesus. They're here, they're participating. This is their community now, and they're always welcome to come back because it's for them, it's for you. So, John, this is the perfect example. So, thank you for sharing that.
I have a question.
Of course.
So I don't know if this is necessarily what the dynamic that we're doing, but I just want to know like your opinion because this is the law of karma, right? Like I wrote down, be intentional. What you think is what you get, right? That's what I wrote down. That's a note, right? What would you do if, because I feel like a lot of times I get, um, majority throughout my life, I always been that person who is always like, let's go. We got this. But I don't know, like I feel like a lot of times all my surrounding is people that has to consistently be uplifted. And I feel like sometimes I run out of gasoline. That's what I feel sometimes. I feel like sometimes I need that own like let's go. Like we got this. And I feel like I'm always that fuel for everybody. But for me, I feel like there's not really like someone. I mean, maybe like I found that through music, through art. Like I listen to Beyonce or like Nati Peluso or other artists like that do give me, but physically a person who talks to me, I don't really get that. I feel like majority of people who come for me, like even my family or my friends and my close people are always like afraid or like afraid of judgment. So I'm always like that person who has to like uplift them. And what would you do? What do you think you should approach that when you feel like you're running out of like? Because sometimes it gets me. Sometimes like like what you said, like, oh, be careful with this, be careful with that, And when you're free spirit, I don't really consider like, oh, I'm thinking what they think or what they gonna do. I just try to do my best, but sometimes I feel like being surrounded by that type of energy kind of like I don't want to say drain you, but kind of like pushes you down. So what would you do in that situation?
Okay, you spoke of a lot of things, and John, I think he should have come to my container method class. I do want you to I'm gonna answer your question, but I want you to go to my YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
and it is Aire Azul. It's AIRE
Okay.
AZUL Ventures,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a class called the Container Method
Okay.
that speaks about how to protect your energy and power. Because from what I'm hearing from you, is that your light and your energy is being seen by a lot of people, and they say or feel that you're the type of person that can help them out.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that because I'm the type of person like that at work. I was waiting for you to because I work part time Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at a residence, and like, oh my God, I was waiting for you because you're the only one that can help me out. And then we figure out the solution in 5 minutes. So there are times where you can give too much of yourself and you have to say no. You have to sometimes say, I can't do this right now. Give me 5 minutes. Give me an hour. Give me a day. Um, the other day I was at work and this guy needed $1,000 to buy some musical equipment. And I was like, I'm sorry, my friend, but I do not have that money. In a way, I lied, but in a way that is truthful. If I tell him that I have $1,000, guess what happens next week? He's gonna ask for another 1,000. So this is your moment to say to yourself and be honest and truthful to yourself and say, do I have the time to help so and so with this? Or do I have the time to build the strength and energy to help so and so? Let me take some time. Let me take 5 minutes. Whatever time it is that you need to do, take that time for you. The most important person is you. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you're feeling drained, if you're feeling tired, and someone comes to you for help, don't say no. Can we do this tomorrow? I'm a little bit tired and I'm going to go to bed, or I'm rushing to go to work now, or whatever. Don't say no, but frame it so that they can come back to you later, or by the time that you see them again, they may have solved that issue. And there's no harm in saying no. It's just the way you say it that the message still resonates with the person's like, I can't help you right now with that, but give me a moment. Or in my case, I really don't have the money to lend you on this time, you know? Because it creates dependency, codependency. I can always go to Jesus because he always has the answer. I can go to Eldon, he has the money. So let's be mindful of that because our gifts, if we can't give them to others, we're depleted. And like I said, we cannot pour from an empty cup. We cannot give of ourselves if we don't have enough for ourselves.
Okay.
Yes,
Can
of
I add
course.
just one little thing to that too? Because I get it, Jesus, and I feel the same way sometimes as well. I say it's good to be open and honest with people, telling them, hey, I trust that, whatever it is that you're dealing with, you have more than the capacity and ability to make it happen for you, right? To get through it. Right now, at this moment, I'm stressed out. I'm overstretched. I don't have the bandwidth, so, I hope you get it through. You know what I mean? Even just a word of support or like, hey, I believe in you is more than enough for you to like, get back to you. I think because I do it too, even at my own sacrifice. and I'm like I pay for it later, and I'm like, why did I do that? I have this to get done for me, and I'm now taking on more on my plate. That's not fair to me. So ensure to put yourself first, like what Eldon said, protect your container, like like your energy, so that you can be there for others in the first place.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
that's helped me a lot with navigating.
Mhm.
Because we're also waiting for Superman, and sometimes Superman does not come. So
Doesn't
you have
come.
to be your own Superman.
Yeah.
It it's also being mindful of not crossing into the territory of people pleasing,
That's me. That's me. That's a problem.
because the thing is they'll get accustomed to, well, he's going to give me what I want. I asked for this, he's going to give it to me. So it is in the way you frame it and say it. If someone asks you for a glass of water and you're in the bathroom, cleaning or brushing your teeth or whatever, and they come up to you the bathroom like, I do. What is that? I'm a little bit busy right now. Can you get yourself a glass of water and then we'll talk later on, or we'll drink it together, or I'll get a glass of water and we'll have a conversation. There's sometimes that people just want to overreach because they can. So if you're busy with something, can I do it later? I think you can get that glass of water by yourself. Now, the glass of water is an example. No one's going to ask you for a glass of water. The point is that they're going to ask you for something that they can do on their own. And therefore, that's where John says, I cannot at this moment. Hit me up in 5 minutes.
Okay.
All right. So make yourself a small little promise to keep keep yourself close. Keep your love. I'm not saying not to help anybody. It's just depending on the ask. Had this person asked me for $10, here you go. He asked me for $1,000. And the mortgage is coming up. You know what I mean? I just, there's no way that I can help this gentleman out. I cannot pour from my empty cup to give him. I have to worry about the little that I have or the amount that I have to take me by.
Okay.
Is that okay? Are we clear?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, let's talk about the law of least effort. This is about accepting, and we talked about this earlier, about going with the flow rather than forcing outcomes. Where I just found myself, and I love this law a lot because when I moved from I'm going back to when I lived in New York and I read this book that inspired me to move to Chicago. It just became so effortless. I was just like, you moved before, you moved back to Chicago, you moved to Chicago the first time, you're just moving back. This is not going to be anything hard. You are going to blossom there, you're going to grow there, you're going to learn. And it just took that. I just took that. Now I took that and just packed my things up, and I know what I got to do, and forget the outcome because I already set the intention. We talked about the intention earlier today. You set yourself an intention. There are people that want to go to Europe, and they see the brochures and they see the website links and all that. Just pick up your credit card and do it. Now, of course, this is just an example. It doesn't have to be a trip to Europe. It doesn't have to be moving to another city. It could be as simple as getting up and doing your work. If you feel stressed out, go up, get a glass of water. Like, you know what? They hired me to do this. I got this. I'm doing it. It's not thinking about it. It's not planning. It's sitting in front of your workstation. This is the task at hand. That's why I'm here, to complete this task. Whether it can be a relationship between two people in a love relationship or a friendship relationship, you're going to be the person who you are because they love you for who you are. You're not doing anything. That is the law of least effort. You're going with the flow. How many times have we been in a group where there's four or more and they all four want to do something different? Do you chime in and say, well, I want to do this? And now you're the fifth person causing the group to kind of figure out what they want to do. Sometimes I'm just like, you know what? Whatever the group wants to do. We want to do Chinese, I can do Chinese. You want to do I don't know, I think it was hiking at the time. And someone comes up to me, Eldon, we got a list of activities that we're planning on doing. What do you want to do? The first thing I said was, what is the group doing? That was it. I did not want to cause any waves. I just was like, you know what? All four of us, five of us, drove up from Los Angeles to go to, I think it was Paso Robles. And we did the wine country and we did the hiking. And we had like one more activity, which was going on a sunset desert hike. And we could have gone to dinner. We could have gone to another winery. But I was like, what's the group doing? I'm here for you guys. I'm here to hang out with you all. So that was my law of least effort implemented by going with the flow, regardless of the outcome. I wasn't providing resistance. I had a wonderful time. We all had a great time. And then afterward, we went back for dinner and we had our glasses of wine and all that. But it's just about not creating resistance because you're going to see, oh, that Eldon, he didn't want to do this. And oh, that Eldon, he wanted to go here. Go with the flow. Can now I open it up to the room on a situation, not necessarily similar to mine, but was there a situation where you felt that there was some resistance and you can handle it and say, you know what? I'm gonna let it go regardless of the outcome. I'm just gonna go with the flow.
That's a hard thing for me to do. I feel like I am someone that is kind of a control freak, and
Hmm.
that is with my whole family, with my friends. I'm not proud of that. Um, Actually, recently that happened to me because I just moved back from Hawaii and I went to study to be a CNA, so I got licensed there. But since I moved back to New York, I needed to transfer my license, and my license was taking forever to get here. It literally took, it said 2 to 3 weeks. And I was just calling and calling, and I was like, where is my license? Like, all the agencies that I was trying to apply, they were like, we need to, for your license to arrive, we need your license to arrive. Like, let's just wait. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm not working. Like, I've been like waiting on this license forever. So I had to like let go. And as soon as I was like, you know what, whatever, it passed the 3 weeks. And then literally when I said that, that's when my license arrived. And now I'm actually applying with the license. So it was hard. I'm gonna accept it. I'm not the best at letting it go and go with the flow.
I believe the reason why it was so resistant is because you didn't let it go.
Yeah.
You weren't going with the flow. It was coming, but
Yeah.
you wanted it to come faster.
Yeah.
You knew it was coming. You was on the way. You could have been doing something else to facilitate that, but
Yeah.
calling and calling and calling, it just pushes it away more.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
let's be, I'm not lecturing anybody. I'm just saying be a little bit more mindful when it comes to things like that so that, you know what? Let the universe take care of it. I got this. I got this.
Mhm. Yeah. Good reminder.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome, Jesus.
I can share. I relate to with you, Jesus, on that. It's hard to let go. I think, but it works just like how you let it go and surrender to it all, and then it all started to happen. That's exactly how it happens with me too.
Mhm.
They should call the law of surrender.
The last one.
Be-
Oh,
because,
get ready. We're good. That's kind of yes and no the next one, but get ready.
okay. But I'm seeing and witnessing, and that's what convinces me this is the better path, is if I do just like let the universe do their part. Like I put something in motion and let the universe, let God like carry it all the way to the end, I will not be disappointed. And that's the kind of faith and trust that you have to have. And specifically, it was recently with the search of my property. I was 2 weeks in Florida thinking that, I was going to make the best of that time. And I got frustrated. I was like, there's nothing here for me. So I was already on my way out. I was going west. And I was like, maybe it's out there somewhere. I'm just going to trust and I'm going to allow. And on my way out, I called this realtor and I said, there's one property I've been eyeing. It is on the path, of me leaving. So I wouldn't just stop by, and she gave me the access. And I went and I saw it and I loved it. It was my property. And, I made the offer and it was accepted. We're closing next week. So it's like, oh my God, like that's the most incredible thing. So that's why it's like sometimes it's like it's hard to describe, it's hard to convince others because it's something that you have to really like live and experience for yourself. And then you'd be like, okay, yeah, I trust it. I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, take it from me. Jesus also with his share. When you
Yep.
let go and let God, oof, things happen and you're
Yeah,
like,
it's the law of least effort. You set your intention,
mhm.
let it go. I did my work. It's the least effort. I did the easiest thing I can do. I'm done here. Let's go with the flow.
Mhm.
Anyone
Literally
else?
going with the flow.
Anyone else before I move on to the next one?
Yeah, I mean, I can say that I totally relate with Jesus and John. This is an area that I've been working on, and I teeter, I go back and forth. It's like I know it works, but in a moment, how quickly I can forget.
Yeah.
And so it's just hearing it is very helpful.
All right. Well, thank you both for sharing. And thank all three of you. Thank you for sharing. Let's get to the next one, which he spoke a little bit about. It is called the Law of Intention and Desire. This one, I love all of them. This one for me, I think John can attest to because my intention was to do this workshop because it is one of my desires to do this workshop. So what else can I say? I'm sitting in front of you with this desire to share what I love to do. My intention was to create a workshop of the spiritual laws of success. And I'm here. I fulfilled it. And it just brings me joy to see people like yourselves. I've never met you, Erica, but I can see that you're such a beautiful person. Jesus, we met once before. I can see that your intentions and desires, and you've told me some of them. Keep going, keep that fire going. And John, of course, what can I say? The person that supported me to do what I'm doing, fulfilling one of my intentions and desires. So I want to thank you all for supporting me today in this one. I ask you now to mention an intention. I know that Jesus, you did it already, but you can choose a different one or you can just keep going with the same one. But mention one, please, intention that you have for your lives. What is something that you say, you know what? I am going to do this. Remember, this is a safe space.
I'm always the one who starts, so let me let the other
Yeah,
people
right.
talk.
I'm like, I'm going
Let
out
John
of
go
limbo.
this time. How about that?
Who's gonna go?
You are.
Oh, okay. My intention is to continue to empower people the same way that I had to learn how to do that. I want others to also learn how to do that for themselves too. That is my intention. That's my desire. That's why I can't carry a full-time job just sitting behind a desk because this feels more like I have a purpose in my life. So it feels really good. And I feel supported by the universe. That law is in action.
Yes, it is. Thank you for sharing that.
I love that. I'll go ahead. It's interesting when I'm very contemplative. So while you all are talking, there's a lot going on here, and I'm making my notes as we go. But one of my intentions, since I can remember, has always been to help people. And now there's no one path for that. It looks different throughout my life, but it's always, and I have to be careful with that because we don't want to overhelp at the same time, but it always comes back up. And when actually Law 4 kind of played into this, when I think about my job, because although I love what I do, and I'm like a adult education, as far as like in the corporate realm. And so I love, instructing and facilitating, but there are parts of my job I don't love. And so I'm really kind of seeking that full fulfillment. But at the same time, for Law 4, this is what I'm here to do this task, move on to the next one. And then when it comes 5, my intention is to help people, and that's what I'm doing. And it is also a desire, right? So it's like, it's happening. It just doesn't look the way I expected it to look. So that would be my takeaway.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. I definitely do agree.
My intention and desire since the beginning was always uplifting my community, which is the LGBTQ community, through the art, through because I'm very lucky that I've received so much help from a lot of people. I don't think I can be where I am without my family, my friends, the people from my community that I follow that they don't even know my existence, but they help me to realize a lot of things about myself. So my compromise and my intention and desire is to keep uplifting my community and to keep, aportar mi granito de arena. That's how I would put it. So yeah, that's me.
Wonderful. Can you please translate for Erica? I don't know if she knows Spanish.
I don't know how aportar mi granito, like my seed, granito, my seed of
Granita,
sand,
my grain of sand.
my
Carrying
grain of
my grain of sand. I'm putting in my little grain of sand.
my little grain of sand. So that's how I want to think that I can help people, inspire, educate, change people's minds, bring new points of view. So yeah.
I think that's a wonderful story, and I love the little, carrying my grain of sand because mine, John's, Erica's, and yours, all of us have that little grain of sand. If there's many of us, we have a beach.
Yep, that's true.
Let's get on to the law of detachment. It may cause some controversy for those that provide
I'm good at that one.
resistance. Yes. The law of detachment discusses the freedom from letting go and allowing solutions to come naturally. Like in the law of intention and desire, which we just spoke about, you set the intention and let the universe take care of the rest. You detach from the outcome. When I was unemployed, I didn't worry. I was sending out the resumes. I was sending out the notices on LinkedIn. I'm like, you know what? Whatever comes, what comes. There's 20 million jobs, or there's one job. There's one that I can do, and I'm working 2 jobs. So just let it go. Just detach. It just doesn't really need that much work. It's the law of least effort. Just put your intentions in there. Put your intentions to the universe. I intend on going to Europe. Then the money's going to come for you to go to Europe. I intend to get this job. Send out those resumes. They're going to call you back. Update the LinkedIn profile. Now, the reason I'm choosing this example is because I have helped people get work. So that's why I'm using that. Your example is going to be unique to you. So let it go. Just put it out there to your universe. Universe, guide my path, illuminate my path, guide my hands, my mind to do what it is that I'm here to do. So now I ask you to reflect on something that you're attached to, and I know that you do, and how you might let go, excuse me, and how it might benefit you by letting it go. It's a tough one, but I know that you have the answers in here because for me, when I was looking forward, it can be stressful, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let it go because I know there's something out there. So it benefited me to relax. Send out your 5 to 10 to 15 resumes per day. Update your LinkedIn profile. Hit out those connections. I was planting the seed. And for those plant lovers out there, Do you water your plant and like, hurry up and grow, hurry up and grow, hurry up and grow? No, you just water it and it grows, right? So you let it go. You say, you know what? I know that this water that's going to nourish this plant is going to make it grow. So you're already detached from the outcome. You already know it's going to grow.
Mhm. Well, I think I spoke too quick. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not so detached. Well, I could give my example with my immigration status that I put on in 2022, and it's been like almost 3 years, and I got half of my paperwork done, and it's literally the last step that I need, and it's again taking forever. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is gonna drive me crazy. So I have so many plans and so many things that I want to do. So sometimes it just feels hard to wait. When you just have to wait and there's nothing you can do other than wait, especially with like things that have to do with the government. That sometimes it takes a little bit longer than what you expect. And yeah, I would say it is a little bit tough to detach and kind of let go and just trust that it'll come when it's supposed to come. So yeah, that's my example.
No,
Like
that's
I feel
exactly
like
it.
sometimes I feel like sometimes it's like your family or your friends that be like, oh, but what's going on? Like, why is yours taking so long? But every case is different, and that's what I'm trying to remind myself that everybody's case is different, and not everybody's timing is the same. So when you see other people, oh, they already got it, they already went through it, and they already like are all good, and you're just still on the way, that feels like you're wrong or you're doing something wrong or you made a mistake or something like that. So part of my control freak again is taking the lead and it's like, oh my God, what can I do? I call my lawyer. I haven't received nothing yet. I haven't received nothing. Where's my paper? Da, 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 da. So yeah, that would be my example.
The spiritual magician in me is going to speak just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
This is the perfect opportunity to detach. And I can guarantee by the end of next week, you're going to get an answer. If we just say, you know what, forget this. It's going to happen when it's going to happen. I'm out of here. I'm going to go on and work on my classes, or I'm going to help something else, or I'm going to just go to the park and relax.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. The universe, talk to the universe, tell it, you know, universe, I did what I did. Now you do what you do.
Yeah.
You got this, Jesus. You got this.
Thank you.
Who's next? Would anyone like to share? What would benefit you? How would letting go benefit you? Sorry, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, I'll go. It would benefit me in a lot of ways. I'd say that just talking through this, I'm realizing that I'm attached to everything. I'm attached to outcomes. I've got the expectations, and it's like, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I definitely, that's going to take some work for me. I have a hard time just letting go, right? And just saying, okay, it is what it is. Like, so it stresses me out a little bit, but I know it's a good thing. So I feel like it would honestly help me in a lot of ways with my relationships, with my goals, in my career life and personal life, all of that. I don't really not holding on to an expectation or outcome, I think, is the biggest thing for me.
I'm gonna say two words that I learned throughout the course of this preparation. Let them. Someone is stressing you out, let them. It's not gonna bother you. Detach. Jesus, I'm waiting for that response from the government and they're taking too long. Let them. They're gonna get back to me when they get back to me. Let them. Think about that the next time you feel a little bit of resistance. John, would you like to share a moment on how detachment can benefit you?
Yes, absolutely. So I think I'm this close to getting the degree on detachment. I mean, I'm on a house on wheels right now, so literally not attached to anything. I
That's
had to
wonderful.
downsize a lot. Even when I left Miami, like I sold or gave away everything. Um, why I'm not 100% there is because there's still a little bit of limitations in my mindset, and I'm getting there when it comes to money. And you and I, Aldan, we worked on this, and how to say thank you, I love you, I'll see you soon, right? And so just really fully owning that. It's like there's still a part of me is like, the other shoe is gonna drop, and you might end up in a mess, and you're gonna have to like fork up all this money that you think you have, you know what I mean? And I might have a hard time letting it go, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like it's not even like in the vicinity of something I should think would happen. It's just my upper limit as I'm now learning through a book that I'm reading, The Big Leap. When you reach like that potential, your own set potential, and you're at the end, you're like, I am at the end. I don't think I can go higher. And then it's like you got to break through your own limitations and go into your unlimited potential, the law of potentiality. But yeah, that.
Well, that's the thing. Going to your example about this money that I don't have, you better stop saying things like that. The universe is listening.
I
And
yes.
and we discussed that giving and receiving money is
Mhm.
energy. You give the
Yes.
money, you're getting it back.
Mhm.
We discussed that. Please remember that.
I know. I'm battling my own thoughts. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm winning. Like I'm like, no, no, no. I read this book. I listened to Eldon. We work together. We know what's happening. I'm not gonna let give in to that. So yeah, it's letting it go and allowing. So
Excellent. Now we are at the final one, the Law of Dharma. I think this was the one that I kept on reading over and over and over, and I couldn't get it. The concept here is of fulfilling your purpose in life and how it contributes to your spiritual success. For me, what do I believe my purpose is? And I learned very young. My purpose in life is to use my skills and abilities to help other people. It is just that simple. It's for me. Everyone has their own. Some are to be mothers, some are to be fathers, teachers, actors, dancers, models, architects, engineers. Mine is to use my skills and abilities. When I became a web developer, I worked for the Alzheimer's Association. I then worked in California for Kaiser Permanente and Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. Then I came here and I brought my web development skills to work in the cruise line industry. As a web developer, as now a life coach, I use my skills and abilities to help other people, whether it's to enlighten them, fulfill their own purpose in life, teach them how to run a business, teach them how to be better people within themselves. Whatever gift that I was given, it is my duty, my purpose in life. How do I contribute spiritually to myself by helping others? That was mine. That was my purpose in life. I heard the calling and I answered. So now I ask you, what do you believe your purpose is, and how can you align your actions with that purpose?
well, I think for me is this moment right now, just being
Yeah,
here
that's an
present.
easy answer. That's an easy
Yes.
answer. You got this. I know that. But no, please continue. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Is that? But I mean, do you want me to come up with something else, or can
No,
I?
no, 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 no. You came
Okay.
up with the right one because it's so natural to you. You're releasing your passion. That's why you were quick to answer because you
Right.
knew it.
You're right. Yeah. Okay. There we go. I'm complete.
Is it fair to
You
say that
said
I'm having fun?
you said Dharma, Dharma,
The H
PH,
A R M A, the law of Dharma.
Dharma. Okay, never heard that one.
Yeah, this one's a little bit more it's what, Buddhism, I think, one of the tenets of Buddhism.
I would say Buddhism or Hinduism or both.
Well, I would say that a lot of people always like I said before, come to me for either inspiration, uplifting. Like people see me with quote unquote a lot of confidence that I don't care. A lot that there not fear, that there's fearless. And a lot of times that's not necessarily who I am, but I do it with fear regardless. So I feel like yeah, I feel like I just have to keep doing that and inspire people. I feel like I love to talk and empower people. That comes to me naturally. I also love to hear. I naturally when I was a kid, I always loved to talk to older people because I love to hear people with that are wise and have more experience than me. Um, all the artists that I follow and all my inspirations are people who inspire heavily, not only through their actions, but also through art. Um, so everything that has to do with body empowerment and sex, free expression and all of that stuff, I love to do it, and I just love to break barriers. Especially in the Latino industry in the Latino world, like we have so many taboos regardless like sex and gender and like religion too. Like there's a lot of like divisive things. So my hope is always to just um my question kind of is like always, can we still coexist even we have like different beliefs and religions and stuff like that. So I think we can, as long as we all respect each other, points of view and lifestyle. So yeah, I feel like my dharma would be just that, just keep helping people and keep opening conversations.
Thank you for sharing that. As Latino myself, for those that don't know, I am from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah,
For us Latinos, I mean, we have a lot of don't do this, don't do that.
Mhm.
There's a lot of restriction, there's a lot of resistance.
a lot.
And I learned, and I'm thankful for this because I learned from my mother and father that they were entrepreneurs, and I can also be an entrepreneur. And when I was building my business in California, I saw this. There was a workshop, and one of the lines, the tenets in the workshop is, and you don't have to be an entrepreneur to listen to what I'm going to tell you now. I'm not going to use an expletive, so I'm going to replace one of the words with something else. You have the stones to not listen to anybody when it comes to your business.
Mhm.
So, Jesus, you keep on with that strength and that power, regardless of what negative people have to say.
Mhm.
Remember, let them. You're going to do you.
Yep, I love that.
Anyone else?
This is a really tough one for me, being
And that's
honest.
okay. And that's okay. No, that's
Yeah.
totally fine. I can understand that because for me at the time, it was challenging for me. And like I said, I've read that chapter and I read that chapter, and I'm just like, it's a short chapter. Why are you getting hung up on this? It is not the easiest one, but it's totally fine that you did not present something that's don't even worry about it. However, you will get to learn more later on. Please, I would invite you all to come to the workshop. Final notes for today. A wonderful thank you for your support today. A wonderful welcome, a warm welcome to the both, so all three of you, I'm sorry, for coming today. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Please take a look at my YouTube channel. My website is airazulventures.com. That's AIREAZUL ventures.com. Now, for those non-Spanish speaking people in the room, aire azul means blue air. It signifies the fresh air that comes into your lungs on a fresh new morning. The openness, the freedom that you get from breathing that fresh air to start a new day, that you can say, I got this. I'm conquering this. These 7 laws that we talked about today, you got this. You've shared wonderful stories. You've shared your potential. You've shared your joy, your love, and your peace. And I thank you all for that. I definitely look forward to seeing you. Please register. I think the course is free. If you do, please take a look at uh, the resources. You'll be able to see the book there for you to read. Because the next one is next week, we discussed all of the 7 principles, all of the 7 laws. There's 7 days before we meet next. And like I said, the chapters are very short. You could read them in like what, 15 to 20 minutes?
Mhm.
So I think you have the time to read before next week. But once again, thank you all. You have yourselves a very good night.
Okay, bye. Thank you guys.
You're very welcome.
Bye, John.
Bye. Good to see
Bye,
you.
Eldon. Bye, Erica. Good to
Erica,
see you
nice
Bye,
to
guys.
everyone.
meet you. And thank you so much, Eldon.
You're very welcome.
Bye.
Okay.